Well, we're back again, and welcome to Web Talk on Rains Broadcasting TV. Very, very interesting session we got coming up here. Now, I've been around federal politics for quite a while. I got elected first in 1992 or 3. And I've seen a lot of parties come and go, more or less. If you looked at the Bloc Québécois, just came in, and then the Reform Party, new party, did very well, ended up to be government today with Stephen Harper, transforming into the Conservative Party. But this is very interesting. I've seen signs popping up. There's apparently quite an interest. So we've made contact with an individual whose name is, I believe, Tis Diha. And I wonder, Chris, can you bring in on air? I know he's a long way off, so we want to have a little talk with him and join us. So, there he is. Tis Diha.
Hello, Randy.
You are a commander?
Yes, I am commander.
And are you a politician?
No, more of a manager, really. It's a intergalactic relations supervisor.
I see. Now, I saw signs for a party, and you have initiated these signs going up around the country. And what is the name of the party?
It's the Alien Abduction Party of Canada.
Alien abduction. What is the abduction aspect of that?
Well, for the last 15,000 years, we've been, taking a few of you and doing experiments once in a while, and just to see what makes you tick. And after seeing this last election call, I'd like to take quite a few more of them in Ottawa and see what makes them actually tick.
Well, I think a lot of people would too. And if you don't mind, are you going to be around a little bit so we can ask you a few questions? Would you mind some of our listeners asking you
I'd be
questions?
happy to take calls.
Okay. Well, let's just get to the bottom of some of these the questions I have for the moment. Can I run for your party, the Alien Abduction Party?
I don't see why not. I mean, if you ran for reform, you're obviously qualified to run for the Alien Abduction Party.
Well, the Reform Party did well. Then you must be expecting to win some seats eventually in the election?
Well, we figured that running for office probably is a better idea than just invading. We see how that's gone in various countries here on Earth, although we do have better technology.
Well, invading, where are you from?
Oh, sorry, my face distorted there for a moment. I'm like a chameleon. My face can actually change. Watch. Hello there.
And where are you from?
Oh, yes, of course. Short to expand.
Yeah, I noticed a little lack of focus there, Commander.
I'm from an area called Sirius.
Serious? And you are serious?
Most of the time, yes, very serious.
I see. And the shape of your head is somewhat different than a humanoid. Do you have more brains than us humans?
I think that's pretty obvious.
I see. How about, but what about our politicians? You don't...
Actually, Randy, your head is very similar to mine. I've noticed that.
Yeah, I try to keep my hair as low as possible just so that I can keep the wind whistling through. But you can't be smarter than our politicians.
Anybody could be smarter than your politicians.
Oh, gee, I think there's a whole bunch of people in Ottawa and the legislature in British Columbia disagree with you. They think they're pretty smart and know a lot of things.
Well, there's an old saying, a human saying, that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And I think that's what's happening with this election.
I see. So what brings you here to Canada instead of Moscow or Washington? What brings you to Canada wanting to run an election? You could just invade us.
Oh, well, initially it was because you had a porous border. It was easy for us to get here. And,
I see.
And then we've been observing the political system here, and we thought, a good opening, both to, well, Canadians are accepting. I mean, look, they've accepted Harper, and he's as alien as we are.
I see. Okay. Well, so
We figured it was a good time to begin and to introduce ourselves. Everybody has known in their heart for a long time that we've been here. We've been here 1.6 million years.
in Canada,
All over the world, but Canada's our favorite place.
I've never seen you.
Well, Randy, you were a politician. We did try to hide for a while.
You hide from politicians.
We did try for a while, yes.
Well, then what makes you want to be a politician if you think politicians are so stupid?
Well, like you, I didn't want to be a politician. I've been pushed into it.
I see. And can you tell us a little bit about your platform? What would you do for the environment?
Well, Randy, there's an old saying, never shit in your own nest. And I think if people were to follow that advice and keep things clean in their area and not pollute, they'd be much happier. And they'd have to take less supplements.
So you should be in our leaders' debates then, although you wouldn't be allowed because you have nobody in the House of Commons. We have an environmental kind of leader in the Green Party who's not allowed, even though they've had 1 million votes. You wouldn't be allowed either, and also you wouldn't be able to probably talk about never shit in your own nest.
No, well, you know, Elizabeth May is one of ours. We
I
actually
see.
presented our green platform through her in a dream. But like all dreams, sometimes they can get a bit confused. And it's one of the reasons we've come here to sort of sort out the distortions.
I see. Okay.
So now, in terms of policy, you know, we do have our Blue Drive, which runs our ships. It's an anti-gravity drive, and which can be used to power anything. And of course, the scientists over in CERN are working on those sorts of things right now, and that will probably be available not long from now if we don't kill each other by breathing exhaust.
Okay.
This is why I'm calling from my ship, because it has air filters.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Yes.
How far up in the sky are you?
Well, beyond pi. You've heard of pie in the sky?
I know a ladybug named Pi.
Yes, well, we're above pi in the sky.
Okay. Pi in the sky above that. I see. I get it. Yeah, that's. I've heard of saying something like that before.
You have an
So
accounting
maybe that's why you've
background,
been-
don't you? Do you have an accounting background?
I do. I know pi r square.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you got the joke. But you know, you're a different kind of accountant.
Some
really.
of us see. That's why I'm a former politician. You see, sir. I was a little smarter than some. I got out of it.
Oh, I see.
Listen, would you take some calls? I've got several emails here. I've got one from Josh from Halifax, Nova Scotia. It must be 11 o'clock there, Josh. Would you take a question?
I'll answer his question, yes, sure.
Josh says, again, politicians are fighting over a gun registry. What is your alien's position on guns?
The alien position on guns.
He thinks you're an alien. You are an alien, sir.
Oh, I am an alien for sure. I'm the ultimate illegal alien.
I see.
Yes, on guns. Well, we don't use guns. We prefer to use logic, and we would also prefer to use good food, good wine, and of course, regular sex, which I think most of the federal politicians are not getting. And this is why they're so angry and confused.
I see.
A good sex life and good eating habits keeps one good.
I see. That's interesting advice, and you're going to use that in the election?
I use it every day.
I see.
We've come for your women. Oh, did I say that?
We have a number of emails poured in here now. Some of the things you're saying, we've got one from Shirley in Edmonton, who says, "If you
Surely you jest."
no," she says, "if you were an alien, how did you get past our immigration so easily?"
Oh, like the drug cartels, we just flew over top of them.
I see. Yeah. Well, We have an interesting immigration policy, but you never hear anything about that, deportations and bringing people into the country in federal elections. Nobody wants to talk about those things. So do you deport citizens from your countries?
We make them go to other dimensions.
Oh, okay. Well,
We have mastered quantum physics.
I see.
Yes.
Which means, what would you do in Canada then?
What would we do in Canada with illegal aliens?
Would you send them out?
Well, we don't have enough people in Canada. We are bringing in, 250,000 a year? None of us, of course, none of them are green. One of us, in terms of technology, is worth 250,000 immigrants easily, but you see, we understand prejudice.
Okay.
It's because my head is big and I'm green, I can't get a date.
I see.
Not with an Earth woman.
We have a question from Bob in Vancouver. How would you attract young people to your party?
Well, I think we've already attracted quite a few young people to our party. We have our agents out going to all the raves. And we, of course, we're incredibly good dancers. We've introduced all that heavy beat. And by the way, not to change the subject, but you see this?
Yes, yes.
We gave this technology to one of the big box stores, and they made this stupid button called "That Was Easy" with it. And so we've actually come down with our own. This, my friends, is a bullshit detector, which you can use during the election. Now listen.
That was bullshit.
You see? It sensed bullshit right here, right on my ship.
It senses it, does it?
It does. Now watch.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
Amazing. Now, if the citizenry can only just buy these and use them during elections, there'd be no confusion.
Well, we could have used that in the House of Commons for a long time. In fact, that would have been the most favorite button there.
You know, one of the things that we're going to propose is we put a giant windmill in the House of Commons because there's so much hot air flying around. You could power most of Ottawa with it, just with one windmill.
Okay. We got another. We got more emails than we can count on.
Are you laughing
here.
at me, Randy?
No, I'm
I'm a bit sensitive about that.
You are a little different, sir. You are a little different.
Well, that's a pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah. Well, Ashley, I believe Ashley, I don't know where Ashley is from. She says the NDP in Canada want to increase our CPP benefits by 50%. How would you handle pensions?
Well, first of all, we don't get old. The first thing we did with genetic manipulation was get rid of old. So.
Yeah, but I get old. The rest of us get old. How are you going to look after us as a government?
Oh, look after you. I never thought of that. Well, hang on.
Well, you fit right in with our politicians.
What are the other parties saying?
Well, hey, that's just the problem here. Now, if you're going to talk like that, sir, you're going to be like all the other parties. They say, what do the other guys say? And we'll take a little bit of that, a little bit of ours, and we'll throw it in. If you're going to come into our planet, into our country, and mimic what our other politicians do, we don't really need you to fly in here, sir.
Okay. I'll give you the secrets. Okay. Eat lots of fiber.
Okay, I won't laugh.
Stay away from milk.
No milk.
Not cow's milk.
Okay.
Have plenty of sex, as I've said before.
Sex.
Brush your teeth 900 times a day.
900 times, yes.
900. Well,
That's a little hard for us humanoids. 900
you could
times.
cut it down just a little bit.
Okay.
Stay away from radiation.
Okay.
That means get rid of the radiation that, the plants, because you guys can't handle that.
I see.
No. Screwing up all the time.
Who, all of us, or just
Well, the people putting in the nuclear facilities, they don't design them very well. I mean,
does your ship run off of nuclear power?
it runs off anti-gravity.
I see.
And our generators
Oh,
run
well.
off anti-gravity, and it's a much safer, cleaner system. But you have technology here that you could, we've looked into it. There's one very smart chap that's made a solar road.
I see.
And if it were installed from Los Angeles to New York, it would power all of the United States, a solar road. That's
Okay.
amazing. We were amazed by that. We were very impressed with that. Of course, they're not going to implement it because it's too smart.
Oh, I see. That's what happens. We have an interesting email in here. It says, "You are a good alien and would make a good politician. Can you see into the future, and what do you see as the outcome for the next federal election?"
Could you repeat all those parts?
Well, the individual is asking for your idea. Can you see into the future, and what do you see as an outcome for the next federal election?
I'll answer the first part first, which is unusual for a politician.
I see.
I can see into the future. Unless things change, you're screwed.
Yeah. Okay, and what is the outcome of the next election if you can see into the future?
Don't you want me to elaborate on the you're screwed part?
Okay, go for it.
Well, we have to start looking after these things, air and water and proper use of resources, or we are screwed as a planet.
I see.
That's all I want to say.
Oh, okay. You're very brief about some things, sir. Are you going to be in the debates? Are you going to try to be in the debates with the other leaders, or most other leaders?
Well, I don't really know.
I see. Well, you can see into the future. You should be able to tell us whether or not you know. I think I sense, sir, that you don't know everything about our Canadian society there is to know in order to table a full party of 308 seats.
Do you think so?
Well,
I think I know as much as the average MP.
Okay, well, here's an email in from Janice.
Well, let me ask you a question before you talk about that.
Uh-huh.
How much do you know about quantum physics?
Well, it's not my thing. I was a politician. I just know a little bit about everything. I know the first three chapters of the, three sentences of the Kyoto Agreement. And I know on some of the bills, I know 2 or 3 lines. I qualify that as being very knowledgeable about some things, a little bit of things.
We are completely conversant with the theory of everything. Are you aware of what that is?
The theory of everything?
The theory of everything is the
No.
ultimate equation which explains all of existence, which of course some of the very smart people in this blunt skull world are working on at this time. As a matter of fact, I will be discussing some of these issues with David Deutsch, who is a very famous physicist from Oxford.
I see. So you are. Well, I think people here would be a little afraid of having aliens come in and run our country. We're used to politicians being elected from all across the country who are humanoid and leaders and
Blunt skulls, you mean?
blunt skulls.
That's what we call humans, blunt skulls.
Oh yes.
Except for you, Randy. You're like us. We love you.
Yeah, I'm an alien. Yeah, right. Well, listen, Janice in Winnipeg wants to know if you can see into the future. She wants to know what the best numbers are for Lotto 649.
3.
3.
And in terms of what the outcome of the election, you don't have to be an alien to understand that. It's going to be the same damn thing it was before.
Well, will you change it? How can you change it? How can you help us, poor Canadians down here who are sick and tired of elections, who are losing our disposable income to taxes and spending? How can you really help us with that?
Well, we could help by being collaborative in first place. Isn't this what everybody's asking for all the parties to be collaborative and actually do the work of government?
Well, I suppose, but
You don't think that that's viable?
I think I just need a little more substantive answer than that. You know, I mean, you're coming a long way here to invade our country, to set up signs around the country for your alien abduction party, and I don't think you're really being substantive in your comments.
Well, okay, this is how we would handle it. If we had a member of parliament who was unproductive, the rest of us would eat him. And that way you are recycling, you're getting rid of waste because they're wasting your time, you're lowering the amount of strain on the food system, and you're getting rid of an asshole.
Okay. I think we better make arrangements for you to get on Canada AM in the morning.
Do you think so?
And talk to them, and talk to the CBC people who probably won't talk to you because you're not, you don't have any seats in the House of Commons, so they won't have any interest in you.
Oh.
So, thank you. Would you come back and answer some questions? The emails are filling up here, and
I noticed
guess
that
there's an interest.
I have an email from a young lady named Ali.
How do you have primitive emails up where you are?
Well, we monitor your emails. We're
Oh,
looking
I
at
see.
yours.
I see.
Oh, and some of your emails are interesting. I won't talk about that. Anyway, there's a question from Ali. She's 16. She says, what can the alien abduction party provide to teens? Well, if you've looked at our ad, you can see there are some very happy teens. We've got ideas for atomic-powered skateboards, and super-powered texting, BBC, BBS, one of those BBs. We have a lot of interesting stuff in the way of food. Fast food, you think you eat fast food, we have a pill. And it can actually, you put it in your mouth and it makes any food that you were wanting a minute ago.
I see. Well, Ali is a teen, I suppose. I don't know where Ali's from.
Apparently she's 16, she's from the island.
Well, how about telling Ali what she could look forward to in the future for work in this country?
Well, she didn't say what she does, what she wants to do for a living.
Well, but you know the future, so you should be able to.
Well, what we would do, because we live in a planet of plenty, you see, this world runs on lack. The financial system runs on lack of items, that's what gives them value. Our system runs completely differently. It runs on plenty, which means almost all things are free where I come from, because we use automation. And automation provides us with the plenty that we need. So we no longer have a moneyed system. So it frees us to do exactly what we want. Me personally, I'm interested in humans, and that's why I'm here. I think it's more interesting than an ant farm.
Well, it's interesting because there are many of us in this country who say we live in plenty as well, in particular in British Columbia. We have plenty of gambling revenues to the government. We have plenty of taxes. We have plenty of bullshit. We have plenty of things here.
You have one of those too. Well, thank you, Randy.
Yes, so you sent it down. You just beamed me up, or beamed it down.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to thank you for coming in. We have to get back. Chris is still trying to make the connections here. I see you're starting to fade in and out, so thank you very much. Can we talk to you in next week or the week after and see how the party is going?
I'd love to. And remember, we've come back for you.
Well, thank you very much. I think we're going to head into an ad and come back and talk about BC politics. Whole bunch of things going on there, folks.
Okie dokie.